Hi, I'm Perry Atkinson, General Manager here at theDove. Hey, check out our other videos and check out our website at theDove.us. Well, welcome to Focus Today. Today is a very special day.
It is.
And I forgot all about it. That's how special
That's how special it is.
Well, you were in Vegas. You don't know things straight when you're in Vegas.
I was reminded that today is the 3rd anniversary of the Dove Morning Show, radio and television being combined live on the air.
The first time 3 years ago. That is amazing. Yep.
And I will say this as I talk to various people in our industry, and they're saying, how do you guys do that? And I go, well, I really don't know.
Well, it's gum, baling wire, and Velcro.
Yes.
Maybe duct tape.
Duct tape, yeah.
But we are, as far as I know, nobody's doing what we're doing. We are broadcasting the morning show live on two television stations, 4 FM stations, and 6 translators, soon to be 9 translators. And we've been doing that now for 3 years, and I thought, wow. And the original vision was, as I said earlier, when somebody gets up in the morning, you always turn on a device. You either go to your phone, you go to your computer, you go to your laptop, your iPad, or your tablet. You go to the radio, you go to the television. When you get in the car, it's usually the radio. When you get to work, it's usually a computer. And so our vision was to be on all of those platforms at the same time in order to be there as a point of inspiration for you when you get up and get going in the morning. And Michael Brown, who has moved back to New Zealand, and he's now heads up Shine Television there in Auckland, New Zealand. He was the young gentleman that came that had all the television experience that helped us get all this put together. And maybe you can introduce the video. I forgot about the video. I didn't even know we had this.
Yeah.
What is it?
Michael interviewed you 3 years ago. Does it ring a bell?
Ding.
Okay. Well, this video pretty much tells us the story of theDove, not just the morning show, not just the radio, but everything that happened at theDove from the very beginning when you guys acquired the station to 3 years ago when we went with our morning show on TV.
I forgot about that interview.
So this will take us up to the start of the show,
yeah.
right? 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see it.
When we took over the Dove radio in 1983, we couldn't afford a morning man. So I just got up and did it. And that's what we did. Here we are close to 29 years later, and I've still been doing the morning show. It began to grow. In fact, it grew fast, and to the point where once we started it, I knew we couldn't end it, and it went from being an hour to 2 hours, and today it's 3 hours. About 1989, 1990, back in there, when we had looked into the idea of possibly getting a television license then, and that didn't work out. And then I realized the uniqueness of the morning show provided an opportunity to create a new format for television. And then television news in itself began to do morning news, which began to grow. And I thought, could we combine the two together? Could it work? And so I think it was in the late 80s, early 90s when that vision become focused in my mind that perhaps we could do this. We had an opportunity to get one, and all of a sudden at the last minute, the seller decided to sell it to somebody else. All the doors closed, so we just kind of stopped pursuing that. I thought, well, the Lord did not want us in television, and in those days, it was all analog. It was very expensive to do, and I thought, well, the Christian television model in America was really big then, and I thought we could never compete at that level. And the opportunity to literally get a channel just wasn't coming about, so we kind of abandoned the whole idea. 2007, a gentleman called me and from Klamath Falls. He really felt like the Lord spoke to him that you're to give this television license to Perry. Well, I struggled with it because I thought, did God close the door permanently or temporarily? Because all of a sudden, here was part of our vision back on the table again, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, are we supposed to do this, or did God not want us to do that? So that was kind of going through my mind.
3, 2, 1.
Today, the Dove TV launches right here on Charter TV, Channel 18. We signed on March 4th, 2010, and it was very exciting because not only did we come on UHF, we came on two charter channels, one charter channel in 2 counties, excuse me, and that was significant for an LP television station to literally sign on initially with a cable channel below the top 20, we're Channel 18. I mean, the whole thing just kind of came together. It was a miracle. When we went into the news format on radio, I did it because I realized that Christians are people too. They have everyday jobs, they have everyday schedules, and could we create a program that not only met their need as they were going to work, but would be attractive to non-believers and a reliable product that they could listen in and get informed. And then the television thing, I thought, we know that television cameras have been in radio studios before. That wasn't unique, but could you take a morning drive show that was very successful on radio and make it equally successful on television and not have 2 departments doing 2 different things, literally meld all this together and make it one and come up with a new model that could be successful both on radio and television. When the television station signed on air, then the whole idea of the morning show going on air came back into focus again, and then it became a matter, could it be done? Did we have the equipment, the facility to do it? Did we have the budget to do it? Could it be done? Did we have the personnel to do it? All of those issues came back into focus. But in the back of my mind was this feeling, this is the thing to do. This is something that we should do. I went to a board meeting one day. It was like, it was a couple of months after we had the television station on the air. And I'm sitting with our board members, and we're in this board meeting. We're going through all the business of the Dove ministry. And one of our board members raised his hand. He said, Perry, I really think you ought to concentrate on putting the morning show on television. Well, we never discussed it at a board level. It was just kind of me. I had it inside of me. I never really took it to the board. And so I'm going, well, there's another confirmation. And then they started leaning on me. The whole board kind of leaned forward. Well, why aren't you taking your most valuable product and putting it on television? And in fact, they kind of made a little bit of an edict. They wanted it done right away. Well, we didn't have the funds or the means to do it right away. So it's taken us about 2 years to get to that point. When we got the award from the National Religious Broadcasters of being Television as a Station of the Year, and one of the reasons that award was given was the uniqueness of our programming lineup. And then to add to that uniqueness, what I would consider the main ingredient, and that is to have a very interactive live morning television program. To me, it is one of the crowning moments in the history of this ministry to see it go on the air. I was taught in Bible college somewhere between the prayer and the answer, God makes the saint, and I think what's happened is from the time we first had the vision to the fulfillment of the vision, if we stayed faithful, and God stayed faithful, and we stayed faithful, it came together, and in that He made us. He made us who we are. We're ready for this. And so I think it's something that once it's up and running, it's going to be, I think it's going to be an industry pace setter. I just feel that in my heart, that God will use this not only for our sake in reaching people, but God will use this as a ways to reach a lot of people that otherwise wouldn't tune into a radio station or a television station. If we do this with a standard of excellence in the broadcasting industry and with the Christian input that really encourages people, I'm hoping that they'll feel safe to share that with other people in their lives, that they could tune in and listen. The scripture that makes all this happen for me is Romans 10:20. I was found by those who were seeking me, and I manifested myself those who didn't ask. That's what we do. We'll put it out there and then trust God to match the content of what we are doing with the person's need, and then let it go viral to reach as many people as we can. I plumb forgot about that video.
Yeah, I hadn't remembered it either until Polina said, hey, we have this. It's like, oh, yeah.
I'm sitting there looking.
Like for the first time.
Yeah, I just kind of went, whoa.
Well, that was 3 years ago.
Isn't it
right?
interesting though to see, like, you talk about us going on TV and starting the morning show and kind of having those hopes and dreams that this will be a pace, kind of a setter and an anchor for others. And now 3 years later, here we are, new building, several awards, and still getting letters and feedback from people that they're still needed.
It's stunning. That video kind of put my brain on tilt because it's true. All of that is true. When we think about these things, and from the time you pray about them, think about them until they actually mature, it takes time. And I just want to encourage you, whatever you're involved in, whatever your dream is, whatever you feel like God's called you to do. I think one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make in your life, anybody, is this one: when to quit or when to keep going. And that's a big decision. You're going to be. We all deal with it, whatever the situation is. You come to a point: do you stop or do you keep going? And I can tell you this: we did this with no budget. We did this with absolutely no money in the bank. Everything that you see here was done by taking a risk, or risk is a new word for faith. You know, how do you spell faith? R-I-S-K. And you go for it, and God honors it. And so 3 years, I can't believe it's been that long.
I think sometimes when the doors close or when we face obstacles, we think, well, God must not want us to do this. This is His sign. But I really, really believe that sometimes He just wants to see how bad we want it. And you and Peggy and the Dove staff has really proved, and the Dove audience have really proved the fact that we really, really wanted it. And there was another door that opened up.
Well, remember this. The other thing is there's 3 answers to prayer: yes, no, and wait. And sometimes a no is the beginning of a waiting period. You know, no, not now. But, well, part of this, and we got to move on, is that I just came back from the National Association of Broadcasters, not the NRB, but the NAB. The NRB is the National Religious Broadcasters, and out of the 5 or 6 years, 5 years now that we've been on the air with the TV, we've gotten TV Station of the Year award for the LPTV status in 12, 14, and 15. And then at the NAB, which is the biggie, I mean, that's the whole broadcasting industry, or this little talk show here, the Dove Focus Today, got the Best Television Talk Show Award for LPTV, and this was awarded by the Advanced Television Broadcasting Alliance Group, which is kind of the organization within the NAB that helps us with all of our legal issues and technical issues. And they awarded the Dove the best, or the Focus Today program, the Best Television Talk Show. And I was stunned. And you were right, Steve. We didn't learn about this until a week and a half ago.
Oh, I think it was even less than that.
Yeah. And so I was going down to the NAB because I'm a part of a committee that's working on some issues that are legal issues. And I'm in this meeting all day Monday. I mean, my head's just fried from all this information I'm trying to soak up. We found out a few days before we went down that we were going to be receiving this award. And Dr. Jerry Johnson, who is the president of the NRB, came to that meeting when we were awarded this award to congratulate us, because of the 6 categories, Christian television won 3 of them. And so I was very honored to have Dr. Johnson there. Had a nice chance to meet with him one-on-one, which I haven't had that opportunity before. So something's happening at the Dove, and the only thing I can say, all of this, we're eating your cheesecake this morning. You're welcome to come by. But folks, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, this would have never happened without your believing in the mission and the vision of the Dove. If you didn't get involved in this, it just would have never happened. And I think back, you mentioned earlier, Paulina, when God gave us the vision of the television, it went away. There's a saying, there's the birth of a vision, the death of a vision, and then the resurrection of a vision. And we certainly went through all of those steps. But when I tell people that our radio audience paid for the television station, and they gave us the funds to put the TV station on the air 2 years before we signed on. When we signed on the television station March 4th, 2010, everything we had in the building was paid for. and the license and everything. Nobody. When I tell that story, people go, "Huh? A radio audience got the vision of a television station and helped you pay for it in advance?" I said, "Yeah, they supported us 2 years before we ever signed on." So something's happening with the Dove, and you're a part of it, and your support makes that happen. One other little bit statistic. Last month, we had 87,000 YouTube views of what's going on with the Dove. 87,000 in 1 month. That's from all over the country and all over the world. So when you're supporting this ministry and the vision, you caught the vision of the mission of the Dove. It's there for you when you need it, but you're making it available for many who are seeing it at the right moment of the crises of their life. And I just want to say thank you for your support. And thank you for playing. I just, this day would have come and gone. This wasn't on my radar.
That's why you have a staff.
That's why we have a staff. Well, thank you, and thank you again for your support. Thank you, Steve. He Mr. News Guy. He took the big part of my dream and made it come to pass. I always fear that some network's going to come hire you away.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not going to let that happen. If we have to pay the 70,000 pennies.
Let's talk about that.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Thank you again for your support.